Okay, good morning, Happy New Year. Just so everybody knows, I've just pressed record. Bear with me 30 seconds while I share my screen and then we'll get straight on with the assembly. So firstly, a huge welcome back. I've seen a number of you this morning around site and it's been an absolute joy to see you. Huge welcome back. We've missed you loads. Teachers have been back since Monday and the place has just not felt the same without you. Yeah, we're just really excited to see you and hear all about your breaks. So firstly, Happy New Year. Sorry, whichever staff members that is, would you mind just muting yourself? Sorry, as I was saying, Happy New Year. I hope everybody had a nice Christmas and I hope everybody managed to have a bit of a break. I know, particularly for year 13, it's a bit of a funny time because you really, really needed a break after your mock examinations and submitting your university or apprenticeship or college applications, but also you're aware that exams are coming. And so it can be tricky to have that break, but I hope you did all manage it because rest and relaxation is just so important. And as we talked about before the holidays, it really was important for you to have that time, that downtime to decompress. So I hope you're coming back feeling a little bit more refreshed, feeling a little bit fresher and basically ready to hit the new term. I'm aware that Christmas and any holiday can be a really, really tricky time. Some of you will have had personal circumstances that mean it's been a tricky time for you. Some of you will find the change in routine really difficult. Some of you will have found things going on in the world. There's been an awful lot of very difficult news that we've heard about around the world over Christmas, and some of you will be finding that incredibly tricky. And whilst today is a really happy day for lots of you, it's really nice to be seeing your friends. It's lovely to be back. It's nice to be back in routine. Lots of you will be thinking, right, that was great, but I'm ready for a routine and some structure again. For some of you, it will be a really, really difficult day coming back and facing your peers after a really tricky couple of weeks off. Now, if that is you, I see you. We're here for you. Please communicate with somebody who is a safe adult for you so that we can make sure that you have the support you need. Now, that could be myself, it could be Mr. Shepherd, Mrs. Gossel, it could be your mentor. You know, Laura Mitchell is in all day today. Her door is always open, obviously, unless she's doing an actual session, but please do speak to her if you need support. Speak to Miss Hosking, speak to basically whoever is a trusted adult, a safe person for you. Speak to them and we'll make sure that we arrange support. As I said, Christmas is probably the holiday of all of the breaks. That can be the one that students find the most tricky. And so if you've had a really rough time, as I said, I see you, please do reach out so that we can put support in place. Now, my New Year's resolution I want to share with you is that I'm aware that last term I was so busy that I did not spend anywhere near enough time in the study spaces just on the ground talking to you. Now, last term was a lovely term. I absolutely loved it, but it was also a difficult term for me. It was my first September as a mum back after maternity leave. I found the new balance of my new life quite tricky, and there were a lot of changes in terms of what my job looks like that took me a while to get used to. But I think I'm there now. I'm feeling much more grounded. I needed the Christmas break as much as lots of you did. And my New Year's resolution is to get out and about every day, not for a long time, that's not realistic, but to get out and about every day, to talk to you and to be on the ground. I want to be the head of sixth form who knows you all personally, who knows what's important to you. And I want to reinforce that it's not realistic for me to say my door's literally always open, because it's not. I have meetings, I have lessons, and I can't commit to being available all the time. But I am committing to the fact that I want to hear you. And if you have anything you want to talk to me about, if you email me or you come and see me, we will arrange a time to ring fence that conversation, and that is going to be an absolute priority. So that's my New Year's resolution. Please talk to me. I want to hear you. I want to see you. And whether that be about your new cat, what you got for Christmas, or that you want to talk about something more serious, you want to give feedback on the sixth form, positive, negative, neutral, please, I want to hear it. So please do come and talk to me. Right then, so as you know, the outgoing head student team finished right at the end of term before Christmas, and I want to take 2 minutes just before we introduce the new team to all of you. I want to take 2 minutes just to publicly thank them and acknowledge them for the hard work they did. This team achieved a great amount. They raised over £2,000 for a variety of different charities. They did other charitable work such as the Bra Bank and sanitary product collection. They raised awareness. They did transition work where they went into primary schools and into the main school to support with transition from year 11 to the sixth form. They achieved a load of work with the pond project. So the school has a pond. I didn't even know about that until fairly recently, but the pond was quite overgrown. The head student team worked with an outside business called Cadent, who sponsored a project to come and make it into a workable space, and it's now being used as a reading space for some of our vulnerable children in the main school. And that's only a short part of the list. They organised mentoring programs. Lots of children from years 7 to 11 have had either subject-specific mentoring, such as there was a maths mentoring programme, or pastoral mentoring. We've got some individual children who have had a one-to-one mentor because they've been struggling maybe with their behaviour or their mental health. And this team has just achieved a ton. And so publicly, I'd like to thank you and acknowledge you for everything you did. I think you're awesome. And I wish you well as you move on to the last stage of your sixth form, no longer as the student leadership team. And I'd also like to introduce the new team. I introduced them to some of you very briefly before the holiday, but you can see on the screen the incoming head student team. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask a student leader, then feel free to ask any of the students on the screen. Specifically, Samira and Prabjot have been allocated as the sixth form students who are going to be affiliated with the sixth form, so they would be good people to start with. But anybody on this team is somebody that you can approach and speak to if you are if you would like to speak to a student about a project you'd like to do, any feedback, any help you need. These students are here for you, and they're brilliant. They interviewed so well, so please do draw upon their expertise and talk to them as much as you need to. So we're having a bit of a refresh of the Silent Study Centre. The Silent Study Centre is the room upstairs, which is the large study space. You all know that. And as I've explained to you a number of times, the reason it's silent is to support you. Every time we do student voice about what would you like, what would you benefit from, loads and loads of students say to me, I would like a silent space to study. Now, we refreshed it in September, and from September until I would say the start of November, maybe a week into November, it was so good. It was genuinely silent. Students were being absolutely brilliant. And I'm aware that towards Christmas, this slipped. Now, that's partly my fault because I put a couple of things in place that didn't work. And so we are refreshing it completely. When you go in, you will notice there's a new layout. It was really silly of me to have the desks round in circles because that suggests to you it's not a silent space. The desks have been moved, so they are individual desks. It's laid out much more like a classroom. That means that if you're there to study silently, you will have your own personal desk, your own personal space. And I know that there are a number of you who find it really beneficial to have your own desk. You can spread your stuff out. There won't be, excuse me, two of you to a desk or anything, so that you can really spread your space out and have your space in the way you want. It's really, really important that I enforce the fact it's silent. I want to be clear. This is not about punishing people. This is not about being mean. This is because the significant majority of the sixth form need and want a silent space. And I would be failing all of you if I don't create a silent space. But I want to set an absolutely clear boundary that I'm not going to tolerate people talking in the silent study space. Now, if you are caught speaking, intentionally making noise, you know, banging your pen on the table, whatever it is, throwing things around, behaving inappropriately in the silent space, you're going to be banned, and you're going to be banned for a period of 6 weeks. I wrote to parents about this yesterday. If you are banned, I will phone home and you'll get a letter home that says that you've been caught speaking in the silent study space, and therefore you are banned for 6 weeks. I know that sounds really harsh, but I have tried dealing with this gently. I've tried having little chats, and what's happened is it works for a period of time and then people start talking again. Now, as we move towards the year 13 examination period, now year 13s, don't start panicking, you've got plenty of time, but it will come round, and it'll come round quickly. It is wildly unfair on the significant majority of the sixth form if we don't have a silent space to work. It is incredibly unfair on those people who need a silent study space because they have anxiety, they might have some sort of additional need, they might just need a silent study space to study. Lots of people need a silent study space to study. And the reason I am doing this is because I want to support you, and I want to make sure this sixth form has that provision. But this is also a very clear warning to those of you who think it's appropriate to be speaking or behaving inappropriately in the silent study, that that's not going to fly. A couple of things to reinforce. One, it's a silent space all the time, including break time and lunchtime. There are a number of students in the sixth form who benefit from having a silent space during social time to decompress. Some people find lessons and a long block of lessons quite overwhelming, overstimulating, and benefit from having a silent space. They can go and sit for 15 minutes or whatever just to decompress. Now, I'm aware that in the silent study space, and in the past, we've turned a blind eye to this because it's been break or lunchtime, but actually on reflection, I've changed my mind about that. I'm aware that during break time and lunchtime, people often will speak or they will eat or chat or whatever. If you want to do those things, step out. We've got the silent study space, we've got all the outdoor space. I fully acknowledge that with this frosty weather, you probably don't want to be outside, but in a few weeks' time, it'll start to get warmer and sunnier, and the outside space is lovely. We've got the cafe, you're allowed off site at lunch, so there is plenty of places you can go. But please be respectful of the fact that the silent study space needs to be silent. There are a number of signs up reminding you that it should be silent, so it's really, really clear. And the other thing that we've asked, so we've labelled the desks for year 12 and year 13 students, please do stick to that, so that you're all spread out to avoid the temptation to shout across the room. I know lots of you have said to me when I've challenged you for talking in the past, oh, I was talking, but I was just asking my friend what they got for this question. If you want to do that, that's fine, step out. Step out into the corridor, have your quick conversation, go back in. You don't need to be talking in the silent study space. This starts today. As I said, I've written to your parents. The silent study space is silent, no exceptions. Please just work with me on this. If anyone's got any questions about that, come and talk to me. But if you're caught speaking or making any inappropriate noises, now if you cough, obviously, that's different. But if you are making silly or inappropriate or intentional noises, then you are going to be banned from that space. I hope that is absolutely clear, and that starts today. You may know, those of you who have siblings in the main school may know that the main school are having a bit of a crackdown with mobile phones. There's a ton of research behind this, and actually one of the things that I'm looking to do in September is have a bit of a project around education around mobile phone use, understanding mobile phone use, and making sure the sixth form are really, really equipped to go out into the world using their mobile phones safely. But the main school are having a bit of a crackdown now in terms of mobile phone usage in school. And those of you who have younger siblings will know that the main school received a communication earlier this week explaining that in the school day, their mobile phones need to be turned off and in their bag unless they're being used for a lesson. Now, for the sixth form, that is different because we have a bring your own device policy, and a number of you use your phones as learning devices. You use them for educational purposes. And in the sixth form, if they're used appropriately, I don't have a problem with you using your mobile phones during break time and lunchtime to have a quick check of your messages or whatever it is. So the rules are, you are allowed to use your mobile devices in the sixth form spaces. So that's the cafe, T block, and outside up until the road. So where the road is, that's really the cutoff. You are more than welcome. I know the signal isn't always brilliant in T block. You're welcome to go outside and use your phone there. But as I said, once you get to the road, please just put them away. Now, I am very, very hopeful that you will support us with this. But if you don't, and there are lots of sixth form who have their phone out around main school, we may need to start a programme where phones are confiscated if they're seen. I don't want to do that. That is not how I run things. I want you to work with me. So that is an absolute last resort. And what I'm asking you to do is to work with me. And if you are walking from T block to your classroom in J block, just pop your phone in your bag. You are welcome to use your phones in lessons appropriately as directed by your teacher. Let me be clear, that does not mean you can sit on Snapchat on your phone during the lesson. But if your teacher allows you to use a device in your lesson, or there's an activity where you can use your device, you are welcome to use your phone. Obviously, if your teacher catches you using it inappropriately, then that is a problem. You'll have to put it away. And again, we may be moving to confiscation if you don't support us with that. But you're welcome to use your phone appropriately in lessons in the sixth form spaces. And Mr. Bates has also said if you're using them for study purposes, you can do that in the library as well if you're in the sixth form allocated library space. But you can't use them around site. So please support us with that. You don't tend to hang around site anyway. So really, the only thing it will affect is when you're walking from T block to your classroom around site somewhere. Just make sure your phone is in your bag, please. Thank you so much for supporting with that. I really appreciate it. You are the leaders of the school, you're the older students, and it's really important that we set the tone for that to be really, really positive. Year 13, a quick reminder about the changes to personal development period. Starting next week, so today you're with your existing mentor, that is so that you could be welcomed back nicely by somebody you know. Monday, Tuesday, Friday, you're with your pastoral mentor. Wednesday, Thursday, so a week today, you'll be with your new academic mentor. If you have a look on your student portal, you can see where your new mentor room is and who your new mentor is. And this is a very quick reminder, as you saw before Christmas, of what the different mentor group focuses are. They are going to be changed after half term based on your mock results. And so you may only be in this mentor group for 5 weeks, but you may be in for longer, depending on whether your mocks show that this is still the correct group for you. A quick reminder, there's about 30 of you who've not sent your applications into UCAS. The final deadline is the 14th of January. That's not a me deadline, that is a UCAS deadline. If your application isn't with UCAS by 6 p.m. on the 14th of January, you can't go to university this year. There is no two ways about that. There's nothing I can do. The website literally shuts and the universities are completely brutal with it. The website is already starting to crash. If you want to apply to university, please come and talk to me. Please make sure I know. Now, obviously, you are past the school deadline, so I won't be going through and checking your application, but I don't want anyone to fall through the net who wants to go to university and not get that application off. Mrs. Hosking is going to come round and talk to those of you whose application is still in the box today to find out whether you're planning to apply. If that is you, it is absolutely imperative that you make that your number one priority right now. Now, on the board are the Period 6 talks for this term. I'm not going to run through the details of all of them now, but I'd like to draw your attention to Monday's talk. Patrick Dale is an alumnus of Finham Park School and Finham Park Sixth Form. He is currently studying at the University of Oxford. He's studying philosophy, politics and economics. He had a really interesting trajectory whereby he took a gap year and actually worked at Finham and then made his application and went on to study at Oxford. And he's going to talk to you about his experiences of applying to Oxford and studying at the University of Oxford. This talk is particularly suitable for students in Year 12 who are interested in an Oxbridge application. But if you're in Year 13 and you're thinking of going, he's also got a load of tips about settling in, what it's going to be like when you get there. And so I'd recommend that all of those people attend. Other than that, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to just read this list. There are some amazing topics coming up, and then in a second I'm going to ask you to scan a form just to sign up for the talks you want to attend. Okay, so this QR code I'd like you to scan. Please remember, those of you in year 12, when you are applying for whatever you're applying for, it is absolutely essential that you show that you have got interest in what you want to apply for. These talks are very, very powerful for that. Also, if you want to go to university and study one of these subjects and you're not interested in going to an after school talk about it, I would actually question whether going to university to study it is the right thing for you. Some of these talks are really, really fascinating. So please do now scan this QR code and sign up for the talks that you would like to attend. The list is on the form as well. I will also print this QR code off and stick it on the door of my office, but I'd like you all to fill in the form. Even if you aren't going to attend any, please fill in the form just so that I know you're not going to attend any, so that I just know who's coming to which talk. There is also a question on the form asking if there's any particular areas of focus you'd like me to look at getting speakers for in the future. So please do fill that in if there's anybody you think that we should be asking. Right, I'm going to end the assembly now with 2 minutes to go. Please use those 2 minutes to complete this form and check in with your friends or your mentor. I'm going to end the assembly but leave this on the screen. Happy New Year again. Please come and talk to me and have a lovely day.